What's it called? What's it called when you do the portal? When you put the... What is it when you just touch the tips?
Oh, yeah, just the tips, boys.
That's docking. It's called docking.
Is that what it is?
Yeah,
there's the overdog and then the underdog. That's how a dog
works. That was
works.
docking in its prime.
Try explaining that move to people who don't understand, eh?
I don't think I'd want to try to explain it.
It's just something
you know what the worst part
get.
is? You try to explain it, and then people are like, why do you know so much about it? And that becomes a problem as well. And there it is.
That's amazing.
Yeah. Podcast 85 starts with docking.
Marketing Matt, that's the name of the episode.
That's
docking.
it. Docking.
Yeah.
Right there.
Just
if you heard docking. The first 5 seconds of this podcast, you're all caught up. Championship weekend.
Top of the mind.
Last weekend, championship weekend.
Unbelievable.
Dazn scored huge points last week.
Okay, I got to clear this up.
Sure.
Is it Dazn or DAZN? What are they trying to do here?
Oh, it's probably DAZN, but
because I hear DAZN, and then when I see the letters, it makes sense to me.
Yeah.
But I still don't read it that way. I read it as Dazn. I heard it first as Dazn. Then I hear DAZN. I get DAZN.
Yeah.
It should be DAZN. I'm still reading Dazn.
I'm telling you this. If this was in the 80s, DAZN is the right, verbiage.
Yeah.
2019, it's Dazn.
I mean, did they miss? Is it a miss?
Well, they didn't miss this weekend. They had the UEFA. They had the championship boxing match. Joshua makes his entry to the U.S. continent. We'll talk about that a little bit more.
Do we have to?
No, you know what? Oh, yeah, we do.
I'm getting upset.
It's prime.
I'm getting upset, Jerry.
Can I say something? Do you feel a little lonely? 2 weeks in a row, we had guests on. This is first time.
It's weird because, we're back. We're back to the Mitch and Dimitri train.
I'm still here.
Yeah,
I'm still here. Guys.
You're always here. And I was just going to say, marketing Matt sitting right in front of this new format of sitting around the table.
I love it.
it.
I feel natural. It's like we've always been here. We've always belonged.
It truly does.
The Lion King's coming out. It's like we were Simba. We were lost for a little bit.
Did you notice that that's like all computer generated and all that? That looks very real.
84 episodes, and I finally invited you to sit at the table.
We had to earn our way.
Yeah, we had to earn our way. We got sent for.
Yeah,
the Godfather, Jeff.
You have to go if you get sent for. You have to go. It's crazy what they're doing with movies nowadays. It's beautiful.
It's all CGI. Well, you know who else? That was like The Jungle Book when they remade The Jungle Book.
True.
Great.
I still haven't watched that one.
You know what? I highly recommend.
Oh, you do?
I highly recommend.
Well, that's nice.
I would give it like 7.5 loofahs.
Really?
Yeah.
Speaking of the loofahs, they're coming up.
Oh, they're coming up. Do we just... you know what? Let's just tell. Because we've been trying to tell the people. We keep forgetting week after week. Ladies and gentlemen, roster, you understand that every year... Well, really, this is the second year. But, in the first year, we did the Loofah Awards.
Yes.
And they range from best athlete to, best sound editor.
Right.
It's
your year, Jeff. I'm feeling good. I'm feeling good about this one.
We're feeling good.
I don't want to say too much.
But the competition, it got better.
It got better.
It
sure did. Best guest.
Best guest. I mean, you name it. We got it all. Best sports movie. The Loofahs are our awards, if you will, and they are coming up. Ladies and gentlemen, in the end of June, the Loofah Award winners will be presented. And I just want to tease my favorite.
Sure.
Best roster member.
Oh, yes.
And you will be thrilled to hear the finalists.
Huge.
Next week. On episode
86. You love it. You know
why we did 86?
Why is that?
That's the year the Top Gun came out.
That's true. That's a good point.
Right.
It's a little homage to it, if you will.
Right? So we got to name the Top Gun on Top Gun episode.
Last week we had the Korean dumpling himself, Mandu, on. And you know what? It was game 1 of the NBA Finals the next day after the podcast. He hit everything. He said Siakam was going to be a free bird. 32 points later. Exactly. Toronto ends up winning game 1. We'll get into the whole thing, but I just want to say, sometimes the people are asking us, guys, can you guys get more guests that are like high profile? Well, with all due respect, We're two guys. We work full time. We got Jeff on the keyboards. We got Jeff working up doing everything. We got marketing Matt. But you know what? Take a look at this list. I thought to myself when I heard this, Mandu's a 5-timer. Okay,
5.5.
But he is a guru. And just listen to last week's podcast, and you'll see why that we bring him on. He knows what he's talking about.
Yes, he does.
Kelly
Yes, he
Kellner.
does.
Oh, I don't know. Top 100 in the World Series of Poker as we speak right now. He's down there crushing it, making money
Game
for
changers.
everybody. We got Chris LaBelle, comedic genius. We got Mandu, Tasso, the greatest, maybe the greatest RT guest of all time with regards to followers. He gets everyone up and crazy
That
and
guy
excited.
has done more for the podcast as it stands than marketing Matt.
Exactly. Dr. Ryan Todd, Dr. Karen McNeil, George Cambosos, who's about to pound somebody's face again
Ladies and
this
gentlemen,
weekend.
Yeah, and I got to plug this because he's fighting. Look, June 7th is the fight. He's in Athens, Greece, training right now. Look, you can see him because he's on our Facebook page, but you got to follow him. It's a really remarkable, historic thing. It's a big fight. It's a big stepping stone fight because he's going to be fighting in North America for a title.
Yes.
Very, very soon.
More names. Angelo Tsaroukas, one of the best comics around. This guy's headlining Vegas. This guy's all around. He sat in the booth with us for a full hour. He loved us. I think he truly loved us.
And I loved him.
Alex Torres, one of the best boxers pound for pound in Canada, also in the pod. So when you talk about the guys and the quality, and then throw in, I said the guys, what about Andonia? What about Lacey? We got top quality guest guys. I really do feel like we're bringing more and more. And in the next season, there's even more to come.
We got like the Patek Philippe of guests.
Isn't that the truth?
On
Let's
this
do it.
podcast.
Exactly.
That's how
Listen,
it is.
with that, what's the itinerary this week? What do we got?
At the number one spot again because they deserve to be there. They've done it. They're
Yep.
just giving it to us day in, day out. It's the NBA, Mitch. We're talking NBA,
All right. We're going to talk a little NHL as well then.
which is moving up the ranks.
It moved up a bit. I gotta
Okay,
admit.
it's like it moved a bit. It's like, when you go to the strip club,
Yep.
you're sitting a little back. You're not on perv roll. You're a little back.
Exactly.
The talent's not the best, but all of a sudden,
You didn't put out a $1 bill. You pulled out a $5 for this
you
one.
know, and the
Just thinking to
dancer
yourself, a
comes
little
up
something.
and it moves a bit. That's what the NHL did.
Then we got to talk about a little soccer
Yeah.
that happened this week.
Big weekend for soccer. I mean,
Big weekend.
Look, we're talking the UEFA. We're talking Champions League. We have to address these sports.
We got to talk a little boxing. We have to. We got to touch this.
It's unbelievable.
Then
it's
there-
unbelievable.
then-
I'm so mad.
Then, of course, everyone's new favorite segment, Rapid Banter. It's back.
We want to kill it, but we
Yeah.
can't because it's too popular.
And then
how's the
MAGA,
finish? How's
you
the
know what? We
dismount?
got to finish with a big one. You came up with the idea this week. I got to give you homage. It's a beautiful one. It all fits in.
It was out of sheer anger.
Sheer
and if you're
anger.
paying attention, you already know.
You already know.
It was out of sheer anger.
Exactly.
And we're gonna get to that.
Exactly.
And much more. But before we do,
Right.
and Jeff, please cue the music. We got to give to you the Headversity metrics of the week. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. We talk about it every week, but you got to get serious. Roster, go to headversity.com. This is the leader in workplace resilience and mental health, fighting the stigma and awareness. Look, they've also done the website for us. So if you go to reallockerroomtalk.com, you're going to be able to see their work in action. But go on there, headversity.com, sign up to the newsletter, check out what Dr. Ryan Todd and Dr. Karen McNeil are up to. They are doing great things. And for all you roster members that are part of organizations, they will come and they will address issues and analyze the organization as well. So let's get into... Let's hold on a sec. Let's get into just what metrics are happening right now, okay? I'm
All
going to
right.
give to you the number one.
What's me? I'm number one.
No, I can't dispute that you're a number one.
Fair enough.
You're a number one. However, number one is the amount of podcasts that have gone by that I haven't mentioned. Cousin Jim.
Cousin Jim.
Okay? You're back in.
He's in?
You're back in.
You brought him
I
in.
know it's been hurting you. We're playing the game, but Cousin Jim, it's been 1 week. I get it. You're hurting. I'm hurting. He's back in.
I hate it when you two fight. I hate it. I hate it. It kills me.
But that's not all. Number one has another significance in the metrics.
What's that?
Podbean. The amount of new followers
We got-
this week on Podbean, we're up to 84.
What?
It's exploding. It's
big.
huge.
This is with once a week working and half a marketing guy.
Yeah.
I mean, the amount of sex, if you put that much effort into your sex, into this, we'd be flying.
We'd be flying. But he's Marketing Matt's having too much sex.
He's
Marketing
way
Matt,
too
did
much
you
sex.
have sex this week?
I
Yes
almost
or no?
don't feel bad
Whose
for him.
microphone? You got he's
got his
how does
own?
he get his own mic? Is that
know.
Jeff's microphone? Did you ask Jeff if you could use the microphone?
I did, and then he said, "Yeah."
He's
Just
in.
making sure.
He
I'm
made
in.
it.
Sure.
I'm in, guys.
He's Jeff's guy. I
He's
think.
Jeff's guy. Yeah. That's it.
So did you talk to us?
Yeah.
So
What
what's the sex count this
A lot
week?
of sex?
Be honest.
What
Coach's
happened?
challenge.
Yeah.
Don't lie.
This week had to take it easy.
Took a break.
Took it easy.
Don't
Who takes
take
it easy?
Don't take it too
How old are
easy.
you again, Marketing Matt? Real quick.
25.
25, you're taking it easy now? Let me give you a little piece of advice, my friend. As you get older, it takes it easy for you on its own. You don't need to take it easy. You get in now, friend. All right?
But I will say, hold on, and thank you for the beers this week.
Yeah.
Marketing Matt decided to get Singa beers.
Singa.
It's a premium import.
It's nice.
You know how I
And
know
better
that?
than the whatever crap I bought a couple weeks
Don't ever
ago.
buy that
Crusher or
again.
Yeah, that was horrible.
Don't
Yeah.
buy that again. The Bone Crusher, what was it called?
Bone Crusher. That's right.
No, the Bone Crusher was from Toronto.
Yeah, it was an Indian pale ale. I
Yeah, no
believe.
wonder. It fell short,
Yeah.
just like the Maple Leafs.
That's right. There it is.
But look, that's not the only place that we get downloads from. And you know, we got to pay homage.
Yeah.
We got to pay respect. And Mitch, cue your music. We
There it
get
is.
downloads from a little place called Agape Greek Radio, AGAPE, GreekRadio.com, where you can stream Real Locker Room Talk Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, anywhere in the world. And, you know, they got a star-studded lineup. Like I said, we had Adonia on the show the other week. She has the Vixen and Jackal show. Please check it out. But, hey, they got, like I said, a great lineup. And they also got the Agape Greek TV, something that's rolling out fantastically. And, look, it's a beautiful thing. And we owe it all to...
Agape Greek Radio.
No.
Who?
Stan the man.
Oh,
that's right.
come on.
And Stan, you're back in now too.
Fine, Stan. You made it back in. Fine. Excellent.
I'm terrible at hardball. I can pitch the Leafs,
You can, yeah.
but I just can't.
You know what? We
I
can't
can't live
fight
without
him.
these guys.
You know what? Because we don't know his full agenda. You know, and you got to stay on the good side. You know what I mean?
he's- you
got
know, I
something
gotta
up
give
his
it
sleeve.
to him.
And after last week or 2 weeks ago, when Andonia was saying how she could talk to him first, I feel like is there
was
something?
she posturing? Was she trying to brag? A little bit?
I think she was trying to name drop a little bit.
You know what
like,
I
you
think?
know?
I think she knows that we're trying to go for ethnic show of the year,
I think that's exactly
right?
it.
So she's like, hey, you know, did you see how it was very smooth?
yeah.
She goes,
Camaraderie.
guys, don't worry. Me and Stan, we're tight. You know,
Exactly.
it's like Scarface, Tony Montana, and Sosa.
That's
you know,
exactly it.
that's what she's trying to play.
Isn't that the truth?
But I don't know, Vixen and Jackal, we're coming.
I don't know. I think we're looking good.
We're looking
good.
great.
You know what else is looking good? The time today. We are on fire, Jeff. We're on fire today.
We got some honest feedback from Marketing Matt.
Marketing Matt was a little disappointed at how much banter we do at the beginning.
You know,
I like to
yeah.
think that we're just telling the people who we are.
Yeah, it's real locker room talk. It's not fake locker room
But
talk.
apparently you guys don't care that our mothers wore the same veil. So apparently we had to change that
Well,
up.
it's big news
you
for
guys,
us.
you guys do a little oversharing sometimes.
Well, sometimes we care, Jeff. If that means we care too much, then sorry.
You know, define oversharing because, okay, you're right. You know, let's just call it what it is. We talk too much. We're talking too much right now.
Fair enough.
We might go over the limit, bragging about how we're under the limit.
Oh, we're gonna go over the limit. Exactly. You know what? This is the way I look at it. We don't have to do it all up front. We'll throw it in there sparingly. They don't know what we're up to.
We'll get you.
We'll get you.
We'll get
That's
you.
right. Absolutely.
Mitch, let's get to it.
Let's do it. Listen, last week we had the Korean dumpling himself in the booth with us talking NBA. All right. If you listen to the podcast, then I can truly tell you one thing, that he hit it on all cylinders. You guys, listen. He said that Siakam was going to be as free as a bird. He was. He ends up scoring a game-high 31. Toronto wins Game 1 of the NBA championships, and they are up 1-0. Fast forward to Game 2. I said to myself, Marketing Matt, you know what I said? I said, I'm going to watch the game with Mandu. I'm going to watch it. I want to see what does this analytical genius do while he's watching the basketball game. For anyone and everyone out there, let me give you a quick insight. Watching a basketball game with Mandu is like doing math. He literally was watching the game and studying his phone to seeing how many shots were put up. Who fouled who? He knew more than the announcers were announcing before it was being announced, okay? He knew the stats down to a science, and by the first half, he goes, Toronto's got this, it's looking good. However, he threw up this asterisk. They got to shoot more. They got to do more. They got to hit more shots. Obviously, that's the game. Well, as game 2 came around, what happened? Golden State did exactly what a team that goes to the championship 5 times in a row does. They didn't worry. They pulled up their big boy pants, they pulled up their socks, and they went on an 18-0 run in Toronto, and from there they never looked back. In fact, the last 5 minutes and 36 seconds, as per Mandu's stats, they didn't score a basket, and they still ended up winning. Why? Because Iguodala decided to shoot that beautiful 3 at the end. I don't think that was the killer. It was the guys coming off the bench that were the killers. It was the Boogie Cousins. It was the Cook that came in and won this game. Toronto fan, I hate to break this to you because I'm a Toronto fan. That one slipped through our fingers. That was our game, you guys. We needed that game too. Dimitri, I'm going to ask you straight up. What does that mean for Toronto? The fact that they allowed Golden State to come back and tie this series at 1, does this spell the end for Toronto?
I don't think it spells the end for Toronto. It's a hard loss. There's no question about it. But the way that Toronto's been plugging along in these playoffs, I think they are going to learn from it. Now, whether it pays dividends, and what I mean is win the championship, they are composed at this point where they're going to learn from it. They're going to regroup and they're going to go back. They've been in a lot of tough battles, right? All the way, if you look into the second series that they played, with the 76ers, and you look at the tit for tat that they went with the Bucks, right? Yeah. I think that was more of a psychological series for them than the final, because now they're going for broke. Look, Golden State, like we say every week, they are consistent. They're going to get you. They're not going to deviate too much. Toronto in game 1 outplayed them. There's no question. I actually watched game 1 and I said, there is no inclination that Golden State's coming back to win this game. They were in control. Game 2, yes, they let slip through their fingers. But we were talking about it earlier, and even when we were on three-way with the PA.
Right.
Right?
Yes, absolutely.
Right? When we were on three-way with the PA, and I said, for Toronto in the grand scheme of things, and we may be at odds, to come out the first 2 games split 1-1, it is a win. It is a win, because we are still talking about Golden State. Yes, I know the worry is, oh my God, did they let it slip, that 18-0 run? Now, can Golden State run the table? Yeah, they can run the table, but I just don't think that it's going to impact the Raptors as much as it would, let's say, if this was Cleveland.
Right.
Or LA in a semifinal. Like LeBron James is what I'm saying. If this happened to LeBron James, for example, yeah, it's in his head. Toronto has nothing to lose right now. They've already won. The city's won. It's just, the players are going to compete, but they've already won. They did what they needed to do this year.
I hear you. You know what? I don't like that talk, only because from the point of view of, I don't want them to give up. What I want to see is this. Toronto, I don't want to see missed opportunities, and that's what I saw in game 2. They had, and
we know about missed opportunities.
Do we not?
We know about it.
Hashtag missed opportunities. All I'm saying is that there was a game that Kawhi in game 1 didn't do much. It was Siakam that took over in game 1 and basically won that game along with Van Vliet. Game 2 comes around, no one's really doing anything. Steph Curry was off really slow in game 2. Kind of came on towards the end. Klay Thomas goes down with an injury in the fourth quarter. Toronto had the momentum. I mean, granted, they were down, an 18-0 run is going to kill anyone's momentum. Sure. But they didn't. They were up enough, and there was enough progression there by Toronto to say they cut the lead down. But when you see Klay Thompson out now, Looney's gone with a broken collarbone. I guess what I'm saying is Toronto.
And that's crazy that Looney's gone.
All I wanted to see was Toronto take advantage the way a championship team does. Other teams in other sports, when they see a weakness, they go for the neck and they break it. And Toronto did not do that. And Kawhi, even though he led the team, both teams in scoring, He wasn't that dominant force that we've seen in other games. That's what worried me. I love Kawhi. I still think he's got everything going on, but he didn't show that killer instinct. He missed some shots towards the end. I didn't like it. Siakam wasn't very effective in game 2, and let's call it what it is. We can't rely on him. Canada can't rely on Siakam to win this series.
No. He can have a good game here and there like he did in game 1. Look, you're right. Going back to my point is you don't want them to give up. I'll reiterate, I'm talking from a fan's perspective.
Sure.
Right? That for a fan, it's like, if they lose, oh well, we still hit it. I don't like that attitude, and I'll agree with you for a player. No, you got to go in, you got to win. You're professional athletes, for crying out loud. But the silver lining is, I thought that nobody was in sync for the Raptors.
Agreed.
In game 2, and yet they still had a chance. And yet there was a little bit of hope when we got into the 2-minute mark that, oh my God, this team might actually pull it off. They got within 5. It was so. What I liked about the loss was out of sync. They're competing.
Yeah, they're still in there, but you know what the difference is, Corollas, is simply this: is that Golden State, having been there 5 straight times, having the All-Stars they have, having the coach who they have. They relied on their bench this time. This guy Cook comes off the bench, hits 2 straight 3-pointers, with ease, dare I say. Boogie Cousins hasn't played all playoff long, basically. Comes into the finals as though it's another regular season game. Golden State, we have to give them a little respect. As much as I hate to admit it, this team is poised. Even when they're down, they never look like they're down. How many times were you watching the game in game 1 or game 2 where Toronto's up, and if you didn't know what the score was, you felt like they're up by 10, 15 points. They were only up by 3, 4. Golden State never gets worried. Where I feel Toronto's holding the ball really tight, or as a hockey analogy, they're holding their sticks really tight every time they have the ball. And that is experience. That's the poise of a championship team versus a team that's not been there ever.
I personally think they get it, not just from the coach. I think it's Steph Curry. I think the leadership that Steph Curry provides on that team is so invaluable because I look at him, he's never phased. He's never phased. Look, Golden State, they are a second half performer. They really are. They turn it on in the second half, and they're never, ever worried that they're out of it. I'll agree with you on that. So, okay, let's go into, let me come at you with a question then, Mitch. Does Toronto have a better chance, just the same, or worse chance of winning it all now than you thought before the series started?
I hate to say this. My game 1 came through. I was like, Toronto is going to win this in 5. I was that confident. I swear to God.
Before game 1.
Game 1 finished, and I'm like, they keep playing like this, they're going to beat these guys in 5. They're going to beat them. Like Mandu said, 5 or 6. I could see it going the other way. After that game 2 loss, I hate to say it, it's the other way, because what they did was, it doesn't matter what I think, but what you can do as a fan, and what you can do as somebody that's watching it from TV or any, the bench and the team just look really deflated. They're trying harder to do what's easy for Golden State. What Golden State does so easily, like Steph Curry throws up a 3 and he's walking away. He knows that ball's in. Where Toronto's shooting the ball and they're still looking to see, is the ball going in the net? There's it's a confidence thing is maybe the word I'm looking for. The confidence that I saw between Golden State and Toronto is now at an all-time high. Like Golden State has it where Toronto doesn't. Does that mean that they're completely dead? No, but tonight, I know it's only game 3. This is a must-win game tonight in Golden State. Toronto has to win this game.
Yeah, because they can't be under the gun. If they lose the leverage, then it's tough, especially for people that are gripping the ball tighter than normal. I will say that, I said it before, I have no reason to cheer against Golden State and not to win it, just from the statistics and the way things are going. But I will say, after seeing game 1, even game 2, I got the Raptors with a little bit better of a chance on the Dimitri scale.
All right, I like it. I like that I'm low, you're high. It's like the stock market, up and down.
You can never predict it.
You can never predict it.
You can never predict it.
You don't know which way you're going.
See, this marketing, this is why we need video.
This is what you're doing. This is what you're doing. Video. You don't know which way you're going.
Can you do a boomerang?
Do a boomerang.
Do an Instagram boomerang.
Give me a second.
Okay.
Give me a watch. Okay.
Take your time. Don't worry.
Let me
Take
just
your time.
flex the muscle down. Should I do some push?
Let me see that. Hold on. No, give me.
Something there. What's that?
What do you do? How do you do that?
So something.
That
Look at this.
You weren't born.
Little up and down. Little up and down. You know what I mean? Let me.
Now let me do it. Hold on. Boomerang me. I'm gonna do the side to side.
Yeah, you do the side to side.
Yeah, I'll do the side to side.
Now, quick thing. The as you're doing your side to side thing.
Okay.
This is where fake news. This is where I hate to admit it. Donald Trump is right about fake news. Watch this. This week, 2 reports came out. Kawhi Leonard undisputably, undeniably is going to LA. LA Clippers or LA Lakers. They haven't decided, but he's going to LA. Another report came out the other day. He bought a house in Toronto. Which one do you believe? And it's not Rapid Banter yet.
I still believe LA. I still believe the LA story.
I have to admit, until I see the actual signed documents that he bought a condo in Yonge Street, I will not believe it.
Maybe he keeps it for his guma.
Maybe he keeps it there.
Maybe he's got the Friday night girl.
I don't think he's a Guma
Do you
guy.
think
he's a Guma
do you
guy?
think that he
I don't
bought
think
that
he's a
for Nick
Guma guy.
Foles? Did he buy that for Nick Foles?
He may have bought it from
Philadelphia's awfully close to Toronto.
Nick Foles. It's very close.
I'm just saying.
But mind you, Nick Foles is down in Jacksonville now, so you know. But I see where you're going with it. I see
Fair
it.
enough, fair enough.
Gotta have the Gumas. You never know. Caribbean Fest, big thing there. Big thing. Carafest, is that what it's called?
I don't know.
All right, one last thing before we jump from the NBA over to the hockey. Stephen A. Smith, big name in the sporting industry, came up with his top 5 NBA players. I just heard this like a couple minutes before I came to the podcast. I wrote it down. In random order, from 5 to 1, he's got Steph Curry as number 5, Anthony Davis number 4, LeBron James number 3, Kawhi Leonard number 3, LeBron James number 2, Kevin Durant number 1. Do you like the list from the guy that is the self-proclaimed NBA guy, Stephen A. Smith?
So, I love Stephen A.
You like the Stephen A?
I love the Stephen A. And I love the Kellerman. Actually, I like that show, but I'm not going to plug him because this is our show.
Sure.
But look, I can see where he's going with this, but I really got to disagree. How can you put Kevin Durant
Right.
over LeBron James? How do you do it? Stephen A., come on.
Okay.
Like, are you doing that for ratings? Like, there comes a point
He's
where
been talking a lot of Durant for a long time.
Look, I think Durant's amazing.
Sure.
No, there's no question Durant's amazing. But how can you do that? To me, when I see that kind of stuff, it's almost like, okay, if you want, when we go to the NFL, for example,
Sure.
and you know, guys like us, we're Rodgers guys. Look, Brady's the GOAT, but there's going to be years that Rodgers is going to play the best, or Andrew Luck, or, year to year, they might be better than the GOAT Tom Brady. But it doesn't mean if you're doing a pound for pound list, we would ever put any of those guys over Brady. When I look at this stuff that these major sportscasters do, I feel that they're doing it just for controversy and ratings. I don't know if I truly believe that Stephen A. Smith thinks that Kevin Durant, pound for pound, has surpassed LeBron James.
Well, he's obviously doing his job right because I said it on our podcast.
Yeah,
So he's got
that's what I
something
think.
going.
It's a ratings
He's
thing.
brilliant. We should make him part of our marketing team.
Yeah, maybe.
What do you think?
I don't know.
You think so?
You got to work for that, Stephen A.
You know where I was a little surprised? It was a lot of people are mad that Giannis is not in the top 5. I think Giannis is still young. Like, relax.
Yeah, I
it's
get
not a
it.
big deal. But Harden, I was actually surprised Harden wasn't in the top 5.
I'm surprised that a guy like Davis takes over Harden's spot now that you mention it.
But I just wanted to leave that with everyone. A little food for thought.
Stephen
Little
A.
locker room talk.
Stephen A.
in
You
your own
got a
house.
Stephen F.
Oh boy.
Okay, you got a Stephen
boy.
F.
You didn't, did you?
You're Stephen F. Smith.
Well, you know what's not F is the quality of hockey that was played just the other day.
No.
Here we go. Stanley Cup Finals. We got Boston. Last week in the podcast, we're sitting there, we're talking. Boston took a 2-1 series lead.
Not just the 2-1 series lead. They decided to really take the 2-1 series lead by dummying the Blues 7-2 in one game.
Literally busting them one in the mouth. One in the mouth, and where I think that punch, like in boxing analogy, which we'll get to soon, that was a punch to see how much of a punch, how good is your chin, if I will, okay?
Yeah.
And St. Louis reacted by saying, not bad, good hit. But they tied the series. Billington comes back 12-3 after he loses a game. His record is 12-3 as a win-loss for coming back after a game loss. St. Louis has now tied the series. We're heading back to Boston. Me and you were talking as we were driving up here. Is this an opportunity for St. Louis? Like, this is to me a must-win for St. Louis. Would you agree?
I agree 100% because they're going to be playing in Boston, and it'll be the second time, they can regain the lead. I don't think the Boston Bruins are the type of team you want to be playing under the gun with. Not just like we talked about how Toronto does not want to be under the gun against a team like Golden State. Look, I think when you looked on paper, Boston is the team to beat in this final. If you look at the trajectory of what they did in the regular season, the team, and what they did to get to the final. Not to say that St. Louis didn't have it hard or whatnot. It's a great story, but Boston's Boston, and a lot of those players have been there before as well. Tuukka Rask, Patrice Bergeron, Zdeno Chara, right? So they just to name a few, they've been there before. Look, it is a must-win for St. Louis. But I'll tell you, I'm very surprised in this series because I just don't know what's going to happen either way. I mean, I said here on this podcast after game 1 last week with Mandu, if Boston continues to play the way that they're playing, this series is over quick because what I saw in the first couple games, was it was game 2. Is where we're talking, not game 1. What I saw in game 2 from the Bruins was, oh my goodness, this team is for real. You just upset the bear. No pun intended. They are coming for you. Then comes game 3, and this was a beatdown.
Oh, absolutely.
An incredible beatdown. Well, I'll tell you what, game 4 comes around, and St. Louis, had it not been for Tuukka Rask, probably should have won 7-2 on their side.
Sure, absolutely.
So I'm very impressed. I really don't know what's going to happen, but yes, I would say it's a must for St. Louis to win this game because they got to get the edge back. Because I don't care if it's St. Louis or any other team, you don't want to be down 3-2 and playing in your building.
True.
I think that's more pressure than anything else. I'd rather be down 3-2 playing away.
I hear you. Absolutely. I'm conflicted with regards to what I want to see. Here, follow me on this. You got St. Louis right now and Boston tied 2-2. If St. Louis wins the next game, I am 1,000,000% convinced that St. Louis will win the Stanley Cup. Not just because they're up 3-2. It's like they've never been ahead in the. Well, I guess they were ahead in. All I'm saying is St. Louis needs this. They need this confidence. Again, that word confidence coming out. They need this to get ahead. Boston wins this. Boston wins. This is why I'm saying this game is vital. Whoever wins this next game, the game best of 3 first, but this particular game, next game, tomorrow night, I believe it is, right?
Yep.
Tomorrow night, winner wins the cup. That's how convinced I am that if St. Louis wins it, they can go back home to St. Louis and win the cup at home. But if Boston wins at home, I think Boston can take it in St. Louis. I don't think it's going to go 7 games. Winner of tomorrow wins the cup in whose ever stadium or whatever the case may be. I like Boston, but I liked what you and PA said on the way here as we were talking. Zdeno Chara is the X factor.
Yes.
If this guy is not playing, St. Louis will win the games. Win this game.
He's coming in with an injury, and what P&A talked about, he mentioned it, but he eats up a lot of minutes and a lot of important minutes. And this is a very experienced defenseman. He's a Stanley Cup winner, multiple-time All-Star. I mean, it's Zdeno Chara, and the guy's like 7'9", I think that's an accurate stat, by the way. Marketing Matt, look it up. Is Zdeno Chara 7'9"? So
you're close.
I'm
and also check if I'm 5'11".
Yeah, I'm off by millimeters. I know I'm off by millimeters. But no, it's important because he's eating a lot of minutes. I got to ask you.
Sure.
Bergeron and Marchand, do they look off to you?
Something's off with them lately in the last 2 games. Is it St. Louis has figured them out and taken them out? I don't know what it is. Like, the one thing I wanted to mention, I saw it in my notes here and I didn't get to bring it up sooner. This Stanley Cup final, I've never noticed it before until right now. But this is determined. The winner will be determined by the 3rd and 4th lines, not the first 2 lines. Ryan O'Reilly's amazing. Don't get me wrong. Schwartz is amazing.
By the way, Ryan O'Reilly was on. I don't know what
he was
drugs
on another,
he was taking.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think he took Jeff Speedballs because this guy was going crazy.
Exactly. But I do think this whole series has been determined by the third and fourth line and the special teams. Whoever comes across there again, there's another little X factor, will win this. But I am more convinced than ever that St. Louis can taste it. They really can taste it. I think after that 7-2 drubbing, they said to themselves, okay, this game, the next game we come out, if we're going to just be lackadaisical and not win this, then we're out. However, they didn't. They came back, they win 4-2. And I just feel like they can taste it now. That whole analogy I made last week of the Mighty Ducks, I'm dead serious. This would be the crappiest movie if St. Louis was the worst team in the league in early January to get to the Stanley Cup Finals and only lose now. They've got to win it. They're so close. They're just so close. They can't lose this. St. Louis, just do it for me. My bets this year have not been the greatest. Just make me look good once, please.
Yeah, but this is like a Rocky 1. And Rocky 1 was an Oscar-nominated movie.
True, but I just want them to win.
Award-winning.
Yeah, but Mighty Ducks is one that'll live forever and ever and ever. What is better, Mighty Ducks or Rocky?
God, we're talking two giants right now.
Two giants in the industry, right?
It's a tough call. On one end you got Charlie.
Yeah.
On the other end you got Rocky Balboa.
I don't know what to do.
And then you got Burgess Meredith, who was what was his name in the movie? Rocky's trainer. What was his name? Mickey. Thank you. You got Mickey, but then you got Estevez.
Yeah, true.
Right? I mean,
Emilio.
Boo!
And I see him from afar. Emilio,
the Mighty Duck Man himself. God, what a movie that is!
Great movie.
Best soundtrack for a movie.
You know what? It was good.
It was good. That soundtrack is the greatest 90s dance compilation
I'm gonna go get it. I'm gonna go get that. Listen, from there, from fighting on the ice to fighting on the ring.
In the squared circle, if you will.
As we said earlier, DAZN or DAZN or however you want to pronounce it, they had all the ratings. They had the UEFA, which we'll talk about in a couple of minutes.
More like don't know what to do with Anthony Joshua after last week.
Exactly. And now they had also the boxing. They had Anthony Joshua, the champ, had it all, ready to go, making his debut in North America, fighting a guy named Andy Ruiz. And for those that are watching this and maybe didn't know, and I got to be honest, and you know what, roster? Let's call it what it is. None of you knew Joshua was fighting this weekend. I know you didn't know. Why? Because I didn't even know until I pulled up the zone because I was looking for that the Liverpool fight, and then I saw that he was fighting underneath, and Dimitri also recommended and told me, hey, there's this championship fight. When I saw who Joshua was fighting, in my head, and let's call it what it is. You look at Andy Ruiz, with all due respect, he looks such a great guy. He looks like Turtle from Entourage, circa the beginning seasons. He looks great, like a great, funny, chubby little guy that you would be friends with.
Absolutely.
And he's fighting this.
Well, I think that's
mammoth.
where he did his training. I think he did his training at the pub where you would find
absolutely
a happy-go-lucky guy
with
like that.
A couple of burritos in one hand.
Did he run you out of 10-cent
some
chicken
beers
wings?
in another? What's that?
Did he run you out of 10-cent chicken wings?
He totally. If he showed up at the Bonacera, if Andy Ruiz showed up at the Bonacera, it would go from 10 to 20 cents very quickly.
You'd have to.
We'd have no choice. So as you guys can understand, where his physique is not that of a boxer. Like boxing is known as physique, right? Training, best workouts, this, that, the other, blah, blah, blah. You see Anthony Joshua, stealth machine on one end. This guy's he's ready to fight, Wilder or Fury in the next little while. And talk about thinking about the fight ahead of the game kind of thing, right? The next fight. He didn't take Andy very serious, and by the 7th round, Andy made him his bitch. Dimitri, take it from there.
I'm upset. I am super upset with this because, number one, Ruiz wasn't even the guy that Joshua was supposed to be fighting that weekend. The previous opponent had to pull out. Ruiz is a call-up.
No.
Okay, yes.
I didn't know that.
Yes. Okay? So that's number one.
Okay.
Number two, it's kind of, when I look back at certain things, it's kind of poetic. And let this be a lesson learned to everyone. The Wilder Joshua fight, I don't know what side of the camp everyone wants to be on and who they believe, but it hasn't been happening.
Right.
The problem I have is that when you play the politics of boxing too much in this sport, you're going to get caught sooner or later. And we happened to get caught right now. because Anthony Joshua's stock plummeted dramatically. Because now when Wilder is saying that guy doesn't want to fight me, now everyone has legitimately can say, yeah, that's why he doesn't want to fight him. He's not as good as he says he is. He is ducking him. He is avoiding him. The problem that I have is you look at Joshua in the press conference. I've never seen any boxer, not just champion, I've never seen any champion give the belts to their opponent.
Oh, yeah.
To hold them.
Buddy, what is that?
To ridicule, say, yeah, So I get it, Joshua. You wanted this to be a tune-up fight. Let me tell you why they did the fight in America with such a plug like Ruiz, because I don't care. There's people that are saying, well, you got to respect him. He's not bad. Shut up. He's terrible.
Yeah.
He is a stepping stone fighter. He was never supposed to win. Mitch and I have better bodies than this guy.
Absolutely.
I actually have a better body than the heavyweight champion of the world, and it's quite embarrassing for him or me. I don't know.
You look great, by the way. You look great.
Fantastic. Thank you. It's the haircut, isn't it?
It is.
It's the haircut. It's the haircut. Yeah. No, but so he was a stepping stone fighter. The reason they do this in boxing, the reason that they did this fight specifically and in the States was to have more chips at the bargaining table. Why? Joshua knows at Wembley Stadium he can sell 90,000 tickets and he can have that leverage on Wilder. What he was trying to show is that I can fight. And this is Eddie Hearn. This is Matchroom Boxing right now. I can fight a plug. I can fight a bum, a tomato can, as they call them.
Sure.
And still draw the crowd and make money. This was a statement to Wilder to say, you concede everything to me because I draw anywhere. Yeah. And it blew up in his face.
Oh, man.
He's giving his belts over here. He's having a fun. He's talking about this. He went on ESPN and he's saying, I think me and Wilder should sit down and we should settle it out like two blokes. Shut up, Joshua.
Yeah.
Shut up.
You know what made me sorry to cut you real
upset.
quick.
Like, I'm all over
I can
the
see
place.
it. If anyone could see it right now, it'd be hilarious.
You know why I'm mad? Because this was kill. I love boxing, and this killed boxing.
Well, you know what
this
also made me mad
boxing.
is how pompous he was at the end. He got his ass knocked out. All right, and this is where I wish we brought Torres on. I wish we brought Alex in to talk to us today.
Yes.
He gets knocked out. You lose. You want to be a gracious loser. I respect that. But you don't go and cut into the guy's action. He's being interviewed because he won. He beat you. And then you see Joshua walking over, putting his arm over the guy. Going,
I just want to say
he's the great. He's what a great one. Get lost, loser. You just lost.
Yeah.
Be a gracious loser now. Go to the corner. You got knocked out. Go over there. This gentleman has earned his keep. And let him do his thing.
Did you see Ruiz's arms? Like, I don't even know how they reached Joshua. Like,
yeah,
the guy looked he's Taquito Rex.
Yeah. Taquito Rex. That's a great name.
He looks like, do you remember those like boxing puppets like Batman and Superman?
Sure.
They were like hand puppets.
Yeah.
And they were like, they had the little boxing arms that you could punch people with.
Yes, of course.
That's what Ruiz looks like.
I think now, and let me get into
mini arms.
I need you to back me up on this. Now it's obvious.
You could beat the heavyweight champ of the world.
Well,
I think you might be taller than him.
I might. Well, at 5'11" and a half easily. Yeah, I would say so. He's 6'2". Okay, slightly. I'm slightly short.
Slightly short.
Slightly short. But I'm svelte. compared.
Yeah, svelte.
But what I want you to agree with me. I want you to agree with me that Fury is now truly the greatest.
Yes.
He is not. Is he not?
No, right now, yes.
You proved to me, and you taught me what linear meant, basically, in the boxing world.
The man that beat the man.
So he's never technically lost. Granted, a lot of people will argue that the draw with Wilder was
Well, Joshua got his belts without beating him.
Exactly. Wilder never beat Fury. Fury never beat Wilder. So technically, now that Ruiz knocked out Joshua, Fury is still the champ. Give him the belts, champ.
Let's go, champ.
Okay, here's the last one.
You see it, hey? Did you see how mad I got?
But I said it to you right before.
Heaven forbid you think of video marketing.
I was
what are you writing? Hold on. What's he writing down? What are you writing down?
But who cares? You know what? You'll tell us in a second. We're perusing. I was perusing.
You're a great peruser.
Buster Douglas is saying this is a bigger knockout. This is a more extreme knockout in boxing than his knockout to Tyson. Is he real?
Yeah, I think he is real.
What?
I think this is I think it's worse because at least with Tyson, you had the argument that he was womanizing, he was on drugs, and he truly did this to himself. Okay, there's that point. The other point is that Buster Douglas was at the very least in that lower grade contention, right? He was at least a contender in that top 10, top 15, whatever, depending on which organization you're following. This guy was nowhere close. Joshua's not womanizing, doing drugs, or getting ripped off by a
He was at the buffet table. Let's be real. He was touching the buffet table.
I mean, the fact that, who was it? Oh yeah, what's his name? Oh my God, I'm forgetting. Teddy Atlas.
Sure.
He goes, Anthony Joshua just totally threw out the argument that conditioning means anything in combative sports.
Yeah, maybe. You know what? I'm still.
And he meant that like he was crying when he said it.
It's because of who Tyson was, man. I'm still, even though Buster is the one that's saying this was a bigger upset, I think Buster Douglas, I know, and you're right. You make a really good point. You know, it was overseas. I believe it was over in Japan when that fight
was in
happened.
Hong Kong.
I would argue that Buster Douglas would be the one that needs to be ashamed of his conditioning.
Yeah.
Ruiz, actually, he fought hard. He didn't look that winded, really. He,
Joshua
carried him.
looked winded.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he looked
that's what I'm
exhausted.
saying.
Crazy.
Is that what you meant? Yeah, exactly. I don't know. I'm still on the Buster Douglas
good point,
train.
Jeff.
I still think him knocking out Tyson was just so huge.
Yeah, but
So
Tyson,
huge.
but because look, Tyson's iconic, and he's especially iconic to us, right? But you got to compare apples to apples.
Sure.
Like I said, it was Tyson on the downswing. Tyson not at his best,
Right.
mentally.
Maybe in hindsight, but we didn't know that until after. is what
No,
I'm getting at.
Joshua is at his best.
True, I'll give you that. That I agree with you. I agree with
And
you.
Buster Douglas would have killed Ruiz in the first round.
Fair enough.
May I add something here?
Sure.
So you're
Holy
saying
smokes, marketing
he's
that all
at
of a
his
sudden.
best. Did you hear about his dad saying that the fight should have never happened?
Why?
So I guess
Well, of course he's going to say that now.
Yeah.
well,
of
I
course.
guess one of the practices he got knocked around, got knocked out. The dad said he wasn't in the right state of mind, and that. the
Oh
fight
yeah,
should have
I
never
heard that.
Yeah.
And the guy. Oh yeah, so his sparring partner.
Yeah.
I almost sounded his sparring
Yeah,
partner.
You're taking this English thing a little
I'm
far.
really,
Yeah.
I can't switch it off. That's how upset I am.
Yeah.
His sparring partner is said to have knocked him out during the training camp, which, if you look at him, looks like the white version of Ruiz.
Oh, really?
It's so funny.
So he's got a problem with
pudgy.
short, fat guys throwing punches.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I could win. I could be the champion of the.
You
I think
wait
I
a
might.
sec.
Wait a
Marketing
minute.
Matt, put the call in.
Put it in.
Put it in.
Guess who's contending for the championship?
Fighting out of the blue corner at 5'2".
5'11", we've said.
No. We got to sell the fight.
All right, from there, we go from one championship to another. We'll quickly touch, because we do have a lot of people that love the footy game, the game of footy.
Yeah, a lot of English stuff.
A lot of English stuff.
A lot of English.
The UEFA championships happened. Go ahead, Dimitri. I'll let you explain, because you love the footy.
I like the footy.
You like the footy.
Marketing
Matt's here because he's a footy
Matt
lover.
is a footy guy.
He's got a footy fetish.
Look, it's yes, he does.
Yes, he does.
Yeah. Just loves the balls.
He loves the balls.
Loves
Nothing more than heading the balls
You
all the
give
time.
Marketing Matt just a big pumped up ball,
And he will head that all day.
and the fact that he can't use his hands and
Yeah.
just foot and head,
Yeah, foot.
he's going crazy.
Yeah, just off the chest. Yeah.
Just anywhere else,
Anywhere,
you know,
yeah.
on the back,
Oh, wherever. Yep.
You know, it doesn't matter.
Did you watch any of it?
Look,
It was
I'm gonna-
Liverpool versus
we had
Tottenham.
We had Liverpool, Tottenham, okay,
Yeah.
versus in the Europa,
Yep.
Chelsea and Arsenal. We had an all English final all around the board. It's incredible. And the one thing I liked is, you look at a decade ago and a bit more where these English teams were highly publicized, dominating their respective leagues. But when push came to shove, they could never do anything internationally. Well, now we have the opposite. We're looking at the Real Madrids. Of course, Bayern Munich is a staple, always going to be there. The Juventus, the Barcelonas, where they should be these juggernauts, and now the English teams are cracking through. I'll start with the Europa. You had Chelsea versus Arsenal. Look, I'm not taking anything away from Chelsea, but I did think this was something that Arsenal was going to win, just the way that they were progressing and the teams they were beating into the Europa. But I got to tell you, this Arsenal team and Marketing Matt, maybe you agree with me or not, it seems like they don't care. I thought that this was the first time that they cared about international soccer, that they would make a statement. I feel that they just went back into Arsenal mode. They don't care. Chelsea wins 4-1.
Yeah, no, I mean, I can't comment to the extent of watching the game, but I was following on my phone the stats and whatnot, and I noticed, okay, it's 0-0 up to half, I believe, and then within 10 minutes they lose the game, conceding 3 goals. It's like, I texted my buddy, I'm like, well, this is the most Arsenal thing that can ever happen. And he's like, yeah, I'm not surprised, and you know what, neither am I.
Yeah, it is crazy. So that was the Europa. Let's get to the Champions League.
Yes. It's Liverpool. Tottenham. I honestly, how do you say it? How do you say it?
Tottenham.
And the H is kind of silent.
I'm going to tell you as a spectator, but not a hardcore, this is what happens. Referee, 2 involved, 25 seconds in or a minute in or whatever that happened.
Come on.
No. Let me say my piece. As a guy that doesn't watch it religiously, the guy, so I don't know if it was him, but Salah, am I saying it right? Salah, who is now considered basically the best player in soccer, correct? A lot of people are saying he's top guy, right?
You got to give him top striker, very least. Now.
Long and short of it is, a penalty kick a minute into it when the ball hit his shoulder. I know that's the rule. I get it. But guys, it's the championship game. That, if it touched his hand, I get it. His shoulder, I don't know. I'm a little pressed on it.
Objection, Your Honor.
Fair enough, but they score early. Yep. The rest of the game was pretty boring up until the final 10 minutes where Tottenham had tons of chances. There was one free kick where the ball curved around. Goalie made an amazing save. Very last minute, they also had another opportunity. They didn't make it. I got to say, for a championship game, not super exciting. Final 2-0. I liked it. Not great. I do think the right team won.
Yes. Especially from last year. Because they lost it for themselves.
Yes. However, I don't like the fact that it was basically decided on a penalty kick a minute into the game.
But you know what, Mitch? This was
boom.
This was to be expected. The dangerous part about having an all English, all Spanish, whatever final you want to call it. This was English Premier League game. This wasn't anything special for any team. It was. We would have seen this matchup on a Sunday, on a Saturday. Tottenham could have very well won this game easily.
Like, statistically,
as a
they had better stats. They had way better stats.
I did not want to touch any of these games at all. I didn't want to put anything on Liverpool. I felt Liverpool was going to win, but of course it's easier said now. But I didn't want to touch any of these games because it's just an EPL game. So you run the risk of that. But I was happy to see Liverpool win because last year the goaltender, he gave it away. And he felt bad. And Liverpool, in my opinion, should have won last year. That's the end of that.
Look, you guys know better than me. I'm just saying, as a fan on the sideline, I would have liked to see it go maybe penalty kicks. I don't like seeing that either, but at the end of the day, a minute in, the game was over. Technically, right? All right. We go. From there, we go to everyone's new favorite segment. It's Rapid Banter. Dimitri, ready?
Oh, I'm ready.
Marketing Matt, are you ready?
I'm ready.
And Jeff, always ready as usual, with his spits on the side. Here we go. Rapid Banter. Ric Flair, once again, was in the hospital. Came out, thank God, he's fine. Is Ric Flair immortal?
Here we are, born to be kings. Rapid Banter.
AEW, All Elite Wrestling, made its debut on May 25th in Vegas. Pretty good, tons of fans at the MGM in Vegas. It was good. Dimitri, is this fake wrestling or real wrestling?
Fake real wrestling.
Rapid Banter. The other day, doing a little perusing again. I'm looking around. There is something called the Hand Slap Championships. Really?
Viva la Russia.
Rapid Banter. UEFA. Okay, imagine this, okay? Your 3 favorite teams. One from UEFA, one from the Stanley Cup, one from the NBA Championship. All 3 are in the finals. You have one opportunity to see one of them. Which one do you go to?
Give me the UEFA.
Rapid Banter. Let's see what else we got here. Oh, Anthony Joshua, obviously, as we all...
Rapid Banter.
Yeah, you know what? I got a feeling that was going to be... Green Bay's coach, Matt LaFleur, last week exploded his Achilles tendon playing some basketball with his coaches. All right. This is the head coach of the Green Bay Packers, busted his Achilles. Mahomes' MVP has been told vividly by his team, you are not to play any basketball. What sport can any athlete play so they don't get in trouble by their NFL franchise?
2 things. Number 1, table tennis. Number 2, greatest LaFleur coach that we know was from dodgeball.
Rapid banter. Let's see, where do we go here? All right, number 1 draft pick, Zion, spotted wearing Nikes this weekend. Is he letting Nike off the hook a little too easy?
No. Once you go Nike, you never go back. Rapid banter.
You know, little sadness here on the weekend. Bill Buckner, if you know that name, he was the gentleman that unfortunately let the ball go through his legs. Boston Red Sox, I believe it was 86 against the New York Mets. All right. Now, granted, a lot of people don't know this. I think I mentioned it on previous podcasts. That was only game 2 of the series, ladies and gentlemen. But I knew everyone till this day uses that against, pardon me, that was game 3. Everyone uses that one mistake he made as the pinnacle of what his career was. This guy is in the Baseball Hall of Fame, which in my opinion is the hardest Hall of Fame to get into. Is Bill Buckner the ultimate 9-10 guy?
Worst mistake is still a hole in the condom.
Rapid banter. R.I.P. Bill Buckner. What do we got here? Oh, here's a dilemma I had the other day. Wendy's Frosty or McDonald's McFlurry?
Wendy's Frosty.
Rapid banter. Here's one from the sports. Dark. Oh, no, wait. Here's a good one. This one, I had to sit there. I had to read this one. I couldn't read my own handwriting. I apologize. I saw this the other day and I thought it was a hilarious question. Somebody asked, would you rather live in real life, The Walking Dead or the Game of Thrones?
Oh, Game of Thrones.
Rapid banter. See, I would go walking.
Man.
No, you know what?
Man.
Hold on a second. You go backwards.
How are you?
You're talking about the fort. I don't want to fight dragons. I don't want to have sex with my aunts. I would rather Walking Dead. Let me just figure this out. There's still communication going on. There's no iPhone. There's no magazines.
Let Jeff pipe in.
Go ahead.
I was just thinking about it. I my vote would have been for Game of Thrones because then I get to use my sword. But then, hey, you can still use your sword against the zombies.
True.
And you can sleep with your aunt anywhere. So.
He's got a point. I guess you could sleep with your aunt anytime you want.
Yeah, that's true.
I suppose. I never thought of that.
It's up for the taking.
If the world's, I guess, wrecking, I guess, falling apart, you got to do what you got to do.
Game
right?
of Thrones. You can even breastfeed till 14.
I've heard that. Is Andy Ruiz the new people's champion?
Rapid banter.
I think he might be, by the way. Watch out, Rock. Watch out. All right, NFL. So a couple weeks ago, Aaron Rodgers was at the Bucs game. He was trying to chug a beer, didn't do a very good job. Since then, Drew Stafford of the Detroit Lions came out, chugged the beer. Trubisky came out from the Bears. He chugged the beer. So some reporter went up to Aaron Rodgers and said, hey, all these guys are chugging beer. Aaron's response is, at least they're winning at something. Offside or onside, Bear?
So onside.
Rapid banter. Juju Smith-Schuster, wide receiver, Pittsburgh Steelers, decided to go to prom this weekend with a guy named Anthony Milano. They danced at the prom. Everyone's dancing. Everyone's going crazy. All of a sudden, the high school starts screaming F-U-A-B. Do you think, will AB be bothered by this or love the fact that his name was being chanted by the people?
Completely bothered.
Rapid banter. This weekend, Jeopardy had a new champion. They got this guy named Jeopardy James. Came in, 33-game undefeated streak, won $2.4 million, winning accumulated winnings at Jeopardy. By the way, he's a sports guru / professional sports bettor. What he did, for all those that didn't know, here's a little insight. I know this is not rapid banter style, but let me give you a little insight. He would start from the bottom and go to the top, just like Drake. Instead of betting on the $100 games, he went straight for the $1,000 games and went hard. And the guy was unstoppable. My question is, but he still was $58,000 short of the all-time champion named Ken Jennings. Who's the real Jeopardy champion?
Alex Trebek.
Rapid Banter. That's right. Oh, Canada, baby. Last one. Pete Rose. Everyone's favorite, right? This guy, you know what? I said earlier, baseball's the hardest Hall of Fame to get into.
It really is.
They are really holding this guy's feet to the fire. They're not letting him in.
Stop it.
So he goes around, he does his media tour, and he's doing all this stuff, and he's saying, you know what? People are asking him a question. So during the 60s, 70s, he went over to Vietnam with Joe DiMaggio. And they said, what was Joe DiMaggio like? He says he's got the biggest penis I've ever seen. In fact, his quote was, he was a penis with a man attached to it. Offside or onside.
Get him in the Hall of Fame. Rapid Banter.
You would think like comment like that, right? Let's get you in. There it is. This week's Rapid Banter.
This podcast rocks.
From there, we head over to everyone's I'm dead serious. That was the quote. I can show
That's
you.
amazing. That's amazing.
He said it was ridiculous. He said they had to go shower off. He looked over. He couldn't believe what he saw. It's the whole thing.
The DiMaggio
but his quote was
carrying an extra bat.
he was a penis with a man hanging from it, is his exact quote. Just saying.
I get that too sometimes.
Yeah, well, yeah, for sure. Because there is a man hanging from it. Anyways, we go to MAGA versus Malaka. Here we go. Ladies and gentlemen.
Maybe your best comeback 2019, Mitch. Well done. Well done.
We brought up his name a few times. It's Andy Ruiz. Andy Ruiz, the new heavyweight champion of the world, is of Mexican descent. Dimitri came up with this fantastic idea and said, listen, Ruiz is going to be known for two things, being the first Mexican heavyweight champion of the world.
That's right.
And also being a heavyweight. Well, how did he get there? It's Mexican food. Here we go. It's MAGA Malaka, Mexican food. Ready?
I'm ready.
Jeff, you ready?
Oh, yeah.
Marketing Matt, you ready?
Oh, I'm ready.
All right, let's start with a nice easy one.
Over the plate.
Over the plate.
Nice
and
underhand
easy.
toss.
Let's start with a little chips and salsa. MAGA or Malaka?
You know what? Why mess with the classic? I'm going to go MAGA.
Absolutely, it's a MAGA. MAGA. Beautiful. Beautiful. Tacos. Hard shell tacos. MAGA or Malaka?
You know what? Take it away, marketing, Matt.
I'd say Malaka.
What? Why?
Soft shell, man.
Yeah, I
Very
kind of
soft.
got to go
Yeah.
with him on this one.
What?
Too messy.
No, it's
Too messy.
okay.
Too messy.
messy.
It's too messy.
What are you guys trying to... I don't understand.
Now, I'll tell you what is MAGA, and I got to side with him here. The hard shell taco inside the soft shell taco.
Unbelievable.
Here's my technique. I put the soft shell taco on my plate and all the stuff from the hard shell taco.
There it is.
There it is.
There it is.
Jeff, I don't know how you do it.
You know what? I would
You
say a
are
lot of
smarter
people,
than us.
As people are listening to us going, they're going to talk about Mexican food. This is what I'm talking. You can't stop. Here's Jeopardy. Here's the real Jeopardy champion. Here
Yeah.
it is, Jeff.
Yeah.
Jeopardy Jeff. That's
Jeopardy
it.
Jeff.
Jeopardy Jeff.
Jeopardy Jeff.
There
We're
it
putting
is.
you on.
Well, I guess I know your take on soft tacos. MAGA, I take it, right? Is that what you guys are telling me?
Yes. Move along.
Well, let's move on to MAGA Malaka burritos. MAGA or Malaka?
Oh, yeah, it's MAGA. Come on.
You like the burrito?
I love the burrito.
I gotta admit, I don't like double carb. I don't like the rice inside the flour tortilla or whatever it is. I'm Malaka on
It
it.
doesn't make sense at the time, but it's a good thing.
Oh, it's all tasty. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah, well-
MAGA it is. All right, you
Yeah,
convinced me.
there you go.
Here's one
Would you like
that
that
see at
avocado for
local-
50 cents?
We'll get to that in a second.
That's Malaka, by the way.
Here's a big one. I don't think I've had it. Mole. Have you had some mole? MAGA or Malaka?
Mole. No, Malaka.
Malaka?
Have the Mexicans even had mole?
I don't know. You know what? I think that's one of the things we as North Americans have destroyed. for the
Yeah, we
Mexicans.
have.
Yeah, we have.
We have,
Mole,
yeah.
Yeah. Let's move to everyone's new favorite. If you go to your local pub, you're going to find it on the menu. What is it? It's a taco salad. MAGA or Malaka?
Malaka, just have the freaking
Just
taco,
have the
man.
salad. What are you trying to do?
Who are you fooling?
It's already, the bowl is deep fried, and you're trying to eat a salad inside the deep fry.
And then on top of it, you're getting the sour cream, the guacamole,
Exactly.
the beef.
Exactly.
The beef. So who's kidding?
But
who?
you had a Diet Coke with it at lunch, so you're good.
Then you're safe.
Then you're safe.
The diet absolves everything.
That's right.
Yeah, it
Done.
does. Yeah.
Malaka it is.
Yeah.
Agreed. One of my favorites when I was in high school, I'm not going to lie, shout out to Georgia Bood, PA, Chris Sotz, little Johnny F. We used to go to Taco Bell every weekend or every day during lunch. And what would the Hoja get? The chili cheese burrito at Taco Bell. It's a super MAGA on my list.
You put chili and cheese together, you're winning every day.
MAGA. So good. It was
Especially
so
like
good.
Max and 7-Eleven.
Not
When
good for the
when we leave
waistline.
from the bars, we'd go there and they had the chili and cheese dispenser.
Oh.
So you go buy a burrito.
Those got abused.
Oh yeah, I had my
Abused.
mouth under there for sure. I did chili stands.
Here's another one for you. What about everyone's favorite, the tamale? MAGA or Malaka?
I still don't get what it's all about. Malaka.
It really is, I have to admit. I think it's just, I don't know what it is. I'd be lying. 3 more maybe. Let's just go straight up for the margarita. You know what? I'm switching it up a little bit.
Yeah.
By the way, if you haven't noticed who's on the keyboards today, it's Jeff.
Jeff on the boards. MAGA.
I gotta tell you. I
Yeah,
gotta tell you
please.
about that. My margarita experience. My last one was in Tijuana, and it was 11 in the morning, but
Was
it was
there a
really hot.
donkey?
And we went in to have a little brunch or whatever, and it was 2 for 1 margarita day. And each margarita was like an ounce and a half. They were healthy, right? And this is back when I was married, so I ordered 1 margarita each for my wife and I, and so 4 margaritas come to the table. And she looks at, I'm not having any margaritas at 11 in the morning. So I had 4, and they were awesome. And then I went shopping, and I got the best pitch line ever. This great big Mexican guy comes out of his shop, and he says, "Hey, I'll rip you off right now for less."
That's amazing. Ladies and gentlemen, are you not entertained? Are you not entertained with these
my
stories? That's amazing. That's amazing.
That's my new line.
I'll rip you off right now for less. I went and bought.
So you met Andy Ruiz back then?
I bought a belt from the guy. That was the most honest Mexican I met that day.
I
thought
would
that was great.
100%
I thought
also buy
that guy's honest. I can trust him.
I bet
Yeah,
you did
it's
buy
true.
a belt from Ruiz.
All right, 2 more. Here we go. You know what? It's a I don't know what it is. It's the main ingredient in almost everything they do. It's the guacamole. MAGA or Malaka.
Yeah, MAGA. I'm ordering it every time.
The best. Is it not?
You know what is the best guacamole pound for pound?
Yeah, go
you know
ahead.
when you go to an all-inclusive in Mexico, it's not at the restaurant, it's at the little guacamole kiosk where there's a
yeah.
beer tap and a
course.
guac kiosk. Whatever they're doing,
Just really
they've got it figured out.
Oh, no. I go down to the Blackfoot Market, and they've got a couple places where you can get really fresh, salsa, homemade, like every day, fresh guac. It's really, really good.
There it is.
Highly
There's the plug of the
recommend
day.
Okay.
Plug of the day.
Blackfoot it is.
Let's do it. Last one. Here we go. It's a simple one. Tequila, MAGA or Malaka?
MAGA going in and Malaka going out.
Isn't that the truth?
Nice.
Isn't that the truth? Podcast 85. There it is.
Guys, I got one more word to say.
Please.
Please.
Quesadilla.
How did you miss the quesadilla?
Because I thought that was a North American thing.
Maybe because it's
they're
the
so
MAGA
good.
of all MAGAs.
there it
Who
is.
doesn't like it?
I-
It's like the big. You don't like it?
No, I like it, but burrito over quesadilla.
No.
I don't know about that.
No.
You know who disagrees with you? Andy Ruiz disagrees with you.
That's right. That's right.
That's right.
He's a walking burrito. He's Taquito Rex. We've
That's right,
established that.
Taquito Rex.
Those are MAGA, by the way, too.
There it is.
I want to go for Mexican food.
You know
right
what?
now.
I'm kind of hungry too.
Yeah.
Let's get out of here.
Let's do it.
Podcast 85 in the books.
I love it. Look, we had a fantastic time. I love this new setting. Like I said, we're out in like the Serengeti right now. It's beautiful. Look, we got to say thank you to everyone who makes it possible. We got to start with alchemystudio.ca. Jeff. Jeopardy Jeff makes it all happen over here. We got headversity.com, agapegreekradio.com, and look, you got to be sure to follow us on the channels. The website, reallockerroomtalk.com. Mitch and Dimitri at Real Locker Room Talk. Follow us on the channels. Help support the page. We got the Loofahs coming next week. You're going to find out the finalists. Look, episode 85. We got to shove this thing in the locker because now we got to hit the showers.
Go. See you guys. Have a great week. I like it. We're up 15-7. Oh, he didn't play. Ah.
I was gonna do a little.
Golden State's the second half team. I barely pay attention.
There it is.
With Clay out, that's pretty big.
Me too.